welcome to the Bruce Effect. All these skyscrapers are making people that live in there sterile. That the hormones that these people are giving off, passing by each other, giving each other the bad look, and it causes bad vibes. And generally, these people who live in these big skyscrapers, they're generally unhappy for the most part. This happens above the 5th floor, and they did a study with rats, and they found that they could not survive as a society when they were built up in these towers like this. And you have these pheromones and hormones, they lift up, and it generally gets recycled, and it's not a good situation for the people that live above the 4th floor. If you're working above the 4th floor, it's not good if you're spending a lot of time above that area, especially if you're wanting to have kids. But if you can't get out of the city, get below the 5th floor.
We're extremely dumb, and we keep doing very, very dumb things. For instance, we are now buildings we're putting up are sometimes like 20, 30 floors. They have no access to outside air intake. They have a complete recycled air system in them. And the Japanese have been noticing that everybody on floor 5 up are getting sick. And they're right in the middle of doing a very intensive study of their diets to see what's making them sick. What's making them sick, any zoologist could tell you, it's the strange face encounters that are making them sick. Years ago, some laboratories kept rats in cages in tunnels and fed them, and about a third of the way along the tunnels, what you can only describe as social disasters were setting in. They were all getting divorced and eating their children and beating each other, and in the end, rats couldn't make it at the end of the tunnel. It was just chaos. Whereas the rats in the first third of the tunnel were living nice, quiet lives, faithful to their friends and rearing their children happily. The zoologist who noticed social pathology in the rats was called Bruce, and it's known as the Bruce effect. But other people noticed that when animals had to pass animals they didn't know, they showed social pathology. And now they've found out that what happened, if you're inhaling the hormones of strangers, you're going to get very sick. And if you're a woman, you can't get pregnant if you're passing strangers. There's a lot of abortions. And it's been suggested by some American scientists that what we do is we mix up a whole cocktail of human hormones and spray it in the picture theatres and other places where people congregate and sterilise them all. It's their answer to population out of control. But we're doing it anyhow. Our architects are doing that for us. So the architects are responsible for a huge amount of social unrest and a huge amount of human unhappiness. Because they keep saying, I think they're still saying, we didn't know. And how can they not know? If you're a zoologist, you stopped putting rats in a tunnel a long time ago. They knew. But why is an architect immune from knowledge? Or why can they choose to ignore well-known facts? And I feel like phoning up those Japanese studying people's diets and saying, don't you read in zoology? You'd know what's wrong with these people, you know. I remember once there was a Tweed council asked me could I attend one of their meetings. I did, and they said, you keep writing to us and asking why we don't build energy efficient housing and suburbs that function. And I said, yeah, and he said, how come you know about them and we don't? Now, how would you answer that? How come I know about them and they don't? And you've got, 20 good men and true are watching you, and the press of the area are watching you. And I thought about it, and the answer seemed clear to me. I said, there are two things it could be. Either you're all illiterate, or you're extremely stupid. I said, I can't see any other reason why you don't know about it. So can we is that a sufficient excuse to drop thousands of people into misery by building, 8-floor apartment blocks with single airflow systems? Are we immune because we cause 1,000 suicides from, are we immune from being blamed for those deaths? You soon know when you get out of order. A lot of this is built into the language, People say, we're out of order, trouble's happening. And
This is sort of revelatory, really.
I'm sorry about that. How do you think I felt about all this? I thought the whole lot was revelation. You want a revelation?
Yeah.
Right.